It's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. First up this week, Jason Mitchell. Jason is an actor, a really great actor. He's been in a bunch of acclaimed movies and TV shows. In Mudbound from a couple years ago, he played a World War II veteran returning home to Mississippi. In Straight Outta Compton, he basically stole every scene he was in as Eazy-E. And on the hit TV show The Chi, he starred as Brandon. Jason started acting a little late in the game. He didn't get his first role till he was 24. It wasn't an easy road for him either. He was raised in a tough part of New Orleans. His home was devastated by Katrina. He had run-ins with the law when he was younger. You'll hear more about all that stuff in just a minute. The important thing about Jason, though, is this. He's got a presence on screen that demands your attention. He's versatile, magnetic, he's charming. I get that it's sort of a cliche to say you're going to be hearing even more great things from Jason Mitchell soon, but seriously, I expect that you will be hearing even more great things from Jason Mitchell soon. I think you'll agree with me, too, once you hear this interview. He's got a new movie coming out. It's called Tyrel. It's in theaters now. Mitchell stars as Tyler. He's a young guy who lives with his girlfriend in New York and works at a restaurant. He decides he wants to get out of the city, and he takes a trip with a handful of other guys his age. He rides out to the Catskills for a long kind of guys' weekend in a cabin. Only the guys in the cabin are almost all friends of friends. He doesn't really know any of them. And one other thing that's worth mentioning. Tyler's black. Everyone else on the trip is white. If that plot sounds like it just went from goofy fun to nerve-wracking, that's because it did. Director Sebastian Silva made it that way. The movie's funny at times, but it's not exactly a comedy. It's intense and kind of stressful, but it's also not really a horror movie. Nothing really gruesome or violent happens. It's both a weird and weirdly plausible look at race and masculinity and how people react when they have to deal with those topics head on. Let's hear a little bit of the movie. In this scene, Tyler and his friend John are on their way to the weekend, a birthday for a guy named Pete. Their car breaks down. They're pushing it down a back road, high in the Catskills, and as they're about to hear, a woman walking along the road, played by Ann Dowd, notices they're having car trouble.
My husband has the car, or I'd help you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
It's okay. Our friends are coming. They live nearby. They're gonna be here. In a
Where are you going?
300 Peekamoos.
Oh, that's just down the road.
Yeah, I know.
It's the two blue houses side by side.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're visiting the Argentinian fellow?
Nico.
Nico, that's it. Very nice.
Sweetheart.
Yeah. Wonderful guy.
I hadn't had the chance to meet him
Oh,
yet. So,
good.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, sure. So where are you coming from?
Oh, just in the city.
New York City?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Not too far.
Yeah.
Just up for a weekend.
Right.
Good. I'm Sylvia.
Oh, Tyler.
Pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure. Well, if your friends bail on you, I live right around the corner. Tons of room.
All right. Thank you.
Well, good luck to you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, too.
All right.
Yeah, and your name?
John.
John. Have a great time,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Enjoy.
All right. We
thanks.
will.
Okay.
Jason Mitchell, welcome to Bullseye. I'm happy to have you on the show.
Oh, man, happy to be here. Thank you.
You were kind enough to ask me how I was doing in a relatively sincere way right before we went on the air, and I confessed to being a little bent out of shape because I just watched this movie an hour and a half ago.
Right.
It is.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it is like the intimacy of a film shot in this manner.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a very small scale film, but that intimacy becomes really
horror-like.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it definitely goes from dark comedy to horror comedy very quickly. You almost feel scared for Tyler, you know, and it's a pretty interesting movie to watch, and for it to be so intimate and not have any explosions and all that, it's very intense. Very intense. It's a beautiful thing to be able to recognize our differences. You know what I mean? Like, the relationship Michael Cera and I have on camera is the same relationship that he and I have off camera, because we're okay with looking at our differences. I could be like, hey, look, you know, you want to come up? I'm going to the club with Future tonight, you know what I mean? You know, if you're trying to move, you know what I mean? He's like, you know, Jason, I'm not really into that kind of thing, man. And me and him are good friends because we're okay with accepting each other for who we are. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta tell you, Jason, like, you know that Mike is in a good position in his life and career where he feels comfortable saying no to an invitation to go to the club with you in Future. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, not like...
He made it. That's when he knew he made it.
Yeah, like he's so set that he's got something better to do than that. Even if that better to do means he just wants to read a book or whatever. Like, you won't find me at the club on a regular day. I believe you me, right? Unless it's a show or something, I'm not at the club. But if you called me tomorrow and said, would you like to go to the club with me in Future? I'd be like, I mean, yes, I guess. Who am I to say no?
Yeah, man. He's that kind of guy. And I love him so much for it. Because during this film, you know, like, we were shooting in the Catskills, you know, so it's not like we got hotels and all that luxury around us. We all literally had to, like, stay in cabins together, you know, so, like, some of the actors stayed together, some of the producers stayed together, you know, so on and so forth. But we just really got to know each other, man. He taught me how to play poker. Just really, really, really cool dude, you know, and I think you should always hang with everybody because you can learn from everybody.
The first time he was on this show was by phone from his parents' house.
That's not surprising. That's so Michael. That's so Michael, man.
Let's hear another scene from the movie Tyrel. So in this scene, your character and his buddy are like, this is just after the scene that we just heard. You're like on the road, and finally the car is out of gas. Everybody's all worn out, and you've just been standing there in the cold and pushing the car and whatever. And your friends are supposed to be there, but they're super late. And finally,
we meet the friends.
They roll in, yeah.
How you doing?
Nico.
Tyler, good to meet you.
Sit down, welcome.
Thank you. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm Roddy.
All right, Tyler. How you doing? Good to meet you.
Good to see
Max,
you.
it's Tyler.
Hey, Tyrel. Nice to meet you, man.
Oh, it's actually Tyler, but...
Oh, sorry.
No, I was good.
Max, you idiot.
That's like almost as big as the racial aggression gets in the movie. There's not a moment where a guy in a Ku Klux Klan hood breaks down the screen door.
Get the black dude, right?
Yeah, and I think that, like, you know, one of the things about the film is that all of the characters are essentially, you know, offering their best goodwill.
Right.
It's that they are in that situation in very different circumstances. It's just a different thing to be the black guy in that situation.
Right. And I think that's what sort of makes this film also beautiful. The fact that, like, we're over, like, who's playing the victim and who's to blame and all these sort of things. Everybody just has different upbringings and different opinions on how to view a situation. This one just sort of lets you know how it feels to be black. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way sort of to approach that dialogue, you know, but it is a hard thing to just come out and start talking about. And that's what we've been dealing with as Americans. So I think, you know, this film will definitely help address that. But this scene in particular is so special for me because I feel like it's the shock that black people have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Like, I get recognized, you know, on a daily. Like, I take pictures and I do all of that, right? But it's different when I wear my jewelry. If I wear my jewelry, I could go into a place that you're not even supposed to, you know, wear sweatpants, but I can go in there with, like, swimming trunks on and wet from the beach, and they're like, nah, Mr. Mitchell, come sit right here. It's, like, entirely different. And every now and then I just get that shock because I'll forget all about it. Like, I don't have to throw on a Rolex to go to the store and just go do something regular. But, like, when people follow you around the store and you're like, what's going on? How you doing? And they don't speak back. You're like, ma'am, I'm not going to steal from you. Are you kidding me? Like, I should be worried about you. Like, I should lock my doors when I see you. That's how, like, it feels. Like, I've you know, I lived in a building in Chicago where I was shooting The Shire, and I had a lady, like, I literally had to get off the elevator because I was like, this might go south. I literally had a lady tell me to my face that I looked like I didn't live there. And I was like, wow, okay, this is my cue. I'm gonna get off the elevator. I guess, like somebody must have, told her who I was. So like later, maybe 8 or 10 days later, she sees me again and she's like, I just really wanted to clear the air because I felt like there was tension and, you were a guy. And I was like, there's all that, but I kind of feel like you said that to me because I was black. But it's really a thing. And I feel like it's past the point of empathy.
You grew up in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about it? I've never been.
New Orleans is, man, it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place because to me it's the most liberated city in America. It's also one of the darkest places I've seen. You know what I mean? We've been the murder capital of the world several times. We've lasted through Katrina, which was catastrophe. But we all have this sort of, this down-home jazz that's in us. And I love it so much because what I've taken from my city has been the number one thing that's kept me grounded, because I'm still the guy that help somebody with their groceries. I'm still the guy that's going to let the ladies order first. I'm still going to let the ladies walk out of the elevator first. I'm working on my etiquette, so I follow going up the stairs and lead coming down the stairs. You know what I mean? I'm still that guy. I still take pride in knowing that my mom would be proud of the man that I am, if that makes sense. It's a melting pot, man. It's a gumbo pot. It definitely is. But it's a city with a lot of culture, and a lot of identity. But, we got our tragedy just like we got our love.
Where were you in your life when Katrina happened?
I was 18 years old, just graduated high school. Ended up not going to college because I felt like, helping my mom out was helping myself out. That's the best way I could really do it. Just to be 18 and try to be a man. Just try to go out there and get it myself.
Are you talking about jobby jobs or are you talking about street work?
It started off jobby job, but we evacuated to Austin, Texas, and I was working at a hotel and it just wasn't working out. I mean, I could barely even communicate with the people. Most of them were, fully fluent Spanish-speaking people because I was, working. I had a lower-end job. So I could barely even communicate, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, the streets keep calling. And so that's what made the money faster, But I think it also put me in sort of a fast-paced blend of life experiences, because I went through a lot in my life that I was like, why? Just why? Why am I going through this? And I didn't know that I would be acting somebody that people resonate with so well. But I do know I got enough stuff to cry about that I didn't probably, you know what I'm saying? So, I just save it all for the TV, man. I save it all for the TV.
You ended up catching some cases, right?
Yeah. That was, yeah. I mean, I was just young and foolish, man. I was young and foolish, probably watching too many movies. Got too happy, and it happened fast. It was pretty easy to get in trouble and just hard to get out. I fought for that, and it's so interesting because, I damn near went broke trying not to go to jail. And the first big movie that I was supposed to, that I was invited to the premiere of was Contraband, and it opened worldwide. Mark Wahlberg, he does it big, so it was supposed to be in France for the first opening, and I was in jail, and I was embarrassed. People was like, man, actors don't go to jail, man. You ain't no actor, man. You ain't in that movie, man. What you talking about, man? Actors don't go to jail. Man, he was like, man, why you still in here? I'm like, because I don't have a bond. It was something that really let me know early on, if I chose to lose everything, this is exactly how it was going to end up. And this is exactly how I was going to feel. I was going to be embarrassed. I was going to feel like I couldn't help my children. Just really stupid. That's how jail really make you feel, because as many things as people think, you think you're gonna go to jail and be like, I need a shank. I'm gonna have to deal with the biggest bully. And nah, you go in there and realize, damn, how my girl gonna pay this bill? Where's she gonna get the money from? You gotta think about that. You're gonna think about I just want to walk to my refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? I want to make myself a sandwich instead of getting it in this little white paper bag. And it was, you realize real quick that, that ain't where you want to be. I missed a birthday. I missed my child's mother's birthday. I missed Christmas, New Year's, my birthday, and the premiere. And kind of my dignity. And it built me, man. It made me strong. And I'm doing radio interviews with you, man. I was just on Jimmy Kimmel, baby. You know what I mean? Life's good, baby. It's all delicious, baby.
What's it like to check in with your PO or whatever and be like, well, I got this Mark Wahlberg movie coming up?
It's so funny. When I got arrested, my PO told me, contraband. Oh, you got contraband, all right. And he laughed at me. He literally laughed in my face. I was like, damn, this is the worst thing ever.
Can you tell me how you got the part in Straight Outta Compton?
Well, they have this lady named Megan Lewis. She does a lot of auditions in New Orleans. Like, for anything serious, you're probably going to end up going through Megan. And
there's a lot of shooting in New Orleans, especially the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
There's a lot of Hollywood productions there.
Right, yeah. So she's done some pretty big stuff. And it's kind of hilarious because right before that I did an audition for Pitch Perfect, which I see why I didn't get the part, but I took it super serious, so you can just imagine how that might have went. But
I mean, we are talking about the two biggest music movies of the last decade.
Right, facts. But for me, just doing anything with Megan always was very scary because she's very Boston and she's very just serious face. She doesn't want to laugh with you. She may not shake your hand. She don't have time for all that. She's one of them people who don't care about letting you know that she don't have time for that, When you
say she's very Boston, do you mean that she's cold and Northeastern, or that she's cold and Northeastern and also white?
Cold and Northeastern and also white.
Right.
Yeah. And I just never booked with her. I always went in there and sort of bombed. I had an agent who had enough respect to put me in places that I probably shouldn't have been at times. And she watched me audition and she watched me get better. When we did Straight Outta Compton, I went in, put myself on tape with Megan, and she literally double high-fived me, walked me to the car, let me know how good this could be, called my agent as soon as I walked off. It was just, I was like, you are not the Megan that I remember at all. I don't know you. You're a total alien right now. She was so proud of me, right? So they call me back when I'm at my job. I'm shucking oysters. They calling me and they're like, we want you to fly to LA tomorrow for a callback. I'm like, wait, what? Record scratch. What? No, I'm not flying to LA for a callback tomorrow. I'm still on probation, for one. I'm not in the position, the way my bank account's set up, you see what I'm saying? Because, see, I got kids. I can't just get on a flight to L.A. tomorrow like that. You see what I'm saying? I've never been to California. I don't know. You're scaring me right now. So they call me back, and they're like, well, they want to Skype it. I'm like, say less. Too easy, So I go back by Megan because we got to hardwire this joint to the super wire with the big antenna on top of the building. We don't need no skips. We don't need no Nathaniel. You know what I mean? We need this to be the best connection we can get, right? So
get me to the CNN studio.
Exactly, facts, right? So we go there, and it was an hour and 17 minutes over Skype. And we did these same 5 scenes over and over and over and over and over again. And at the end of it, I just bust out laughing, and I just remember hearing all of these voices start laughing. So I'm like, wait, all these people in the room? Who are these people? I still don't know who these people are to this day. You know what I mean? I don't know who was in that room. But it happened right there over Skype. Never left New Orleans. My first time going to California was on a first-class flight headed to the London hotel, baby.
Let's hear my guest Jason Mitchell in Straight Outta Compton from a couple of years ago. He played Eazy-E in the movie. In this clip, Eazy is in the studio and he's trying to lay down the lyrics for his probably his signature hit, Boys in the Hood. And Corey Hawkins is there playing Dr. Dre.
Come on,
You finished, Dre? You want to lap too? I stay in this by myself.
Hey, just say the words, all right?
What does that even mean?
Man, just say the with me, all right? Cruising.
Cruising.
Yeah,
All right.
cruising.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Dre, you know this gonna never work.
All right, you trying to be funny, but you see how you said that, right? Like you believe it?
Yeah, I believe that shit.
Then say this like you believe it, man. Like it's a Sunday and you cruising down Crenshaw in a 6'4". Come on, say that like you believe it, man. Like it's your words. Feel that shit. Stop playing around. Loosen the up. There you go.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Oh. Hey, that was dope, eh? That shit was dope, man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man.
You were a grown-up when you started acting, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yep, I was 23. I probably got my first job at probably like 24. Yeah, it's been like sort of rolling ever since. And it was so weird because like I got a lot of rappers around me. Like rappers and drug dealers was what I grew up around as a child, you know what I mean? And they make their own hours and they move as fast as they want to move and they make product as fast as they want to make it. But in film and acting, period, it's just hurry up and wait. Hurry up to the audition, wait in the waiting room. Hurry up and do your audition, wait for a callback. Then hurry up and do your callback and then wait to see and then wait to shoot. And then it's always a waiting. And it was just something that I just wasn't satisfied with. Before I booked the film, I was like, I got to put something on my resume. Okay, let me go do some plays. You know what I'm saying? So I went and did like 2 plays. And don't get me wrong, like theater is a beautiful thing. But it was something I had to gas myself up to do in the middle of my life. And then once I started booking it, I was like, okay, cool. But I had never been an extra. I didn't have any set experience. So all I knew was, oh, my little 45 minutes on set, my little 3 lines. And then when I booked the next thing, it was like, it wasn't enough. I booked the thing with Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, that wasn't enough. Then I booked another thing with him. That wasn't enough. I need and then I booked Straight Outta Compton. And I'm like, that's still not enough. I'm still at the point in the race where like my head is still down. You know what I mean? I don't even see the finish line yet. I'm just trying to make sure my foot ain't off.
Jason, you're a former professional oyster shucker.
I am.
Can you give me any oyster shucking tips? I've never shucked an oyster.
It's pretty easy, man. It's because they have a hedge on the back, obviously, because it's a muscle. It opens and closes like a clam. But first things first, you want to realize that you're basically gonna kill a live rock. Okay, you're gonna take you're gonna take a life. At this point, it's still alive. As long as it's closed, it's still alive and kicking. And you're an animal for taking a life. So you gotta realize that first, right? But you want to just they have a flat like a flat side, which I like to call the skillet side, and then they have like a bowl side. A lot of people like the bowl side to like slurp them off or whatever. But the best presentation is on the flat side of it, right? So you put the bowl side on the bottom, flat side on the top, and the hinge like in the back, right? And as long as you put the pressure on the front of it, when you sort of like jimmy the knife into the hinge, it'll pop. That's kind of what it is. But I mean, sometimes, I'm from New Orleans. I done seen super huge oysters. You know what I mean? You might need a crowbar for like, But yeah, that's basically it, man. That's the tips. Like I'm arguably one of the best char grillers in the world. I would put my money down on it that I would feed you oysters that change your life for sure.
Well, but whenever, just let me know.
He's like, I'm down.
Yeah, and then after we can go to the club with Future.
Don't right? Just set up shop outside with the grill. Yeah. Make it super New Orleans.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for taking all this time to be on Bullseye. It was really great to get to talk to you.
This is a pleasure. This is a pleasure, man. This is a milestone, brother. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Jason Mitchell, everyone. Tyrel is his new film. It's in theaters now.